This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Say hello to our friends jumping on right now in Portland on Classic Rock 92.3 KGON, also Rock 100.5 The Cat in Oklahoma City, the legendary rocker there, and 103.3 The Fort Rockin' in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Welcome to the program, and a big one we have for you today, the return of Who Sucks Less. What you don't need to know has some of the biggest product flops in history, and today we're talking about unique body parts as a big survey was done on vulvas, female genitalia. Basically, what they concluded is, as far as family practices in this particular study in Australia, that most doctors had talked to or seen someone who had come in and expressed concern about the way they looked downstairs and whether that was normal or abnormal. And not only that, but there's been a recent spike in plastic surgery to make the downstairs area more symmetrical and everything else. Basically,
Labiaplasty.
Yeah, the study just concluded that there's no true shape, form. Everybody's normal. Everybody is just unique in their own way. And we do have the top 35
You sound like a camp counselor. Everybody's unique
special
in their own
now,
way.
some of you...
But when it comes to your vulva, they mean it.
Right. Now, you who's drooling, okay. But, yes, we have 35...
Topics camp counselors shouldn't touch. Your privates all look normal.
Right. Except that they're all very different.
Whoa.
Go home and tell everyone that when you get home. What,
Coach Pete says...
I've got a great-looking penis.
It's fine. Just fine.
Even though the kids make fun of me in the shower.
You're never going to see Coach Pete again.
Right. Hello. Oh, damn it.
He had to resign the Boys and Girls Club job as well. It all fell.
Hello, Tanner. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you, man?
So, good. So I was going to college in Southern Oregon, and I was getting ready to go home for the summer, but I didn't have a ride. So I went on to Craigslist and looked up the rideshare thing and see if I could find a way to get home. Well, single guy I talked to, he says, yeah, well, I'll give you a ride back to Seattle. I said, okay. So I met him the next morning. I got in the car. He puts his hands on the steering wheel, and the first thing I notice is on both hands, he only has 4 fingers. So they're not, like, cut off.
Wait, so
they're,
is it the thumb, and then what finger was noticeably missing?
Well, I guess it's the index fingers were missing.
Huh. Okay.
But there was no nubs. It was just, he was like a Simpsons character or like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of other things you can compare it to.
Was he drinking beer or eating pizza?
Right, yeah.
Was he good company?
But he was. But so it's about an 8-hour drive, but I didn't gain the courage up to ask him what's up with his hands until about maybe an hour away from Seattle or so.
Yeah, I was going to say, that takes a little time. You got to get to know somebody, and then like, hey, I just noticed, just all of a sudden, after 2.5 hours of staring at your hand, I think I need to ask you what happened. What'd he say?
He said he's born like that, and I guess it's a rare kind of disease.
Well, obviously it's rare.
Deformity of some kind.
Not to point any fingers, but he's probably right.
Yeah.
Well, people say, well, it's rare. Like, oh, I know it's rare because you only have 4 fingers, much like The Simpsons and Ninja Turtles.
Think about how awkward it is every time you're like, high five.
Oh, no, man. That's why you just say up top.
I do not care about the index. What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
The worst thing about it, in that guy's particular scenario, it's not that you just notice that someone has 4 fingers, but they're driving. So their hands are always visible, man. Every time you glance at the steering wheel, it's like Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles is driving you somewhere.
It's like 10:30 and 2:30.
Right.
I grew up, dude, I played baseball with a kid that was like a real Ninja Turtle because he didn't have a ring finger or a pinky.
Oh, no.
But he legit had chopped them off working on like a table saw.
Okay.
But it was just weird because I played like during tryouts and stuff. He's in the outfield. He's catching the ball. He's throwing it in. And I never really thought about it. Like, you don't really need There's certain
you
pitches.
no,
but
you don't.
You don't need it. So then one day, just in the dugout, I was like, "Holy crap! Like you only got 3 things."
Well, sometimes you have to
3
wonder,
things.
like with, and just depending on digits, like Jerry Garcia didn't have a digit. Tony Iommi had kind of a nub that he played with in a unique style.
No, he got a
Sometimes-
rubber tip put
Yeah.
over the top of it.
And sometimes I wonder if that contributes. Like, could that guy throw maybe the greatest breaking ball ever? You know what I mean? Because he's just throwing with his.
It was just one of those like we spent a
But
lot
how
of
many
time.
different pitches does he have?
Oh, he played outfield.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
he was just
he
throwing
could
it.
throw. No, I'm
Yeah.
saying if he's the pitcher, like he probably could, but you know what he's going to throw you, right? I mean, it's a 3-finger guy.
Yeah.
What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
You know the exact pitch he's going to throw you every time.
you can
Doesn't
see
mean
it.
you can hit it, but like you know what he's going to throw you, right?
Right. He's throwing the fastball again? He's throwing the fastball.
Not a lot of variety. Hello, Jay. Welcome to the men's room. I'd also like to see your 3-finger buddy bowl.
He probably
Because
was
he's
good
got
at it.
right,
He was a hell of an
he's
athlete.
got
those,
the
are,
ones.
those are the 3 you need.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's right there. So, Jay, what comes to mind when you think of body parts?
Well, what comes to mind is 25 years ago, I'm going to this job interview, and I remember it was a summer day. I don't remember actually a whole lot of this interview because of the body part, but it was a summer day, and the interview was outside. Unfortunately, I'm wearing sunglasses because I couldn't take my eyes off this dude's nose. It was huge. It was like a big, huge purple golf ball, and I couldn't stop staring at it. I don't remember anything that was asked at the interview. All I remember was this dude's nose. Evidently, I think he probably had some sort of a incident with like frostbite or something at some point during a ski trip or something.
You think so?
Well, I think that's what they told me after the fact. Because I did ask. I got the job, and I asked the dude that was my boss. I was like, what's up with that guy's nose? And I think I remember him saying something about a ski incident.
Damn.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
I know what you're thinking, right? Because a lot of people get the big red nose from boozing.
From boozing, sure.
But, like, my mom is not a drinker. She just has, like, I don't know if it's skin problem or whatever, but her nose, like, in the summertime, just gets bright red. And, like, people have said that before, like, oh, like, no, like, she's not a boozer. Legit just has a red nose in summertime.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, yeah.
There was a story 2 or 3.
You can imagine his children.
Oh,
we
here
made
we go.
those jokes.
Oh, of course.
So there was a couple arrested for having sex in a busy intersection in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Damn.
All right, now the guy. All right, the guy. You cannot believe what he had to overcome to get laid. I mean,
No, what she's willing to ignore.
I don't know. I think. I mean, she is not.
You can't know.
She does not deserve that. Nobody deserves that. I mean, that looks to me like this guy's nose. I can't even describe it. It says police say the couple had sex on the ground near a busy intersection. This happened in Oklahoma City. But I mean, if we just brought up the radio station, they know what this guy's got to be legendary.
I
would bring him in for an interview just to talk about what the frick happened to your nose.
How would
Bring him
you
in. He's got a
explain
hell of
this?
a personality.
If you said
he charmed her.
If you said, "Look, man, this guy committed a crime. We need you to describe him to us." Right? We have the artist. I mean, how would you begin to explain that nose?
I don't know. I cannot believe that someone
I
had
would
sex
say
with him.
take a bratwurst and push it up against the screen.
I mean, God,
they would nail it.
look at that thing. I mean, and
Uncooked.
this guy gets laid.
His nose
and the
looks like an
thing
uncooked
is,
public.
I know, but no
She
one
wanted him so bad
All
they
right.
had sex in public.
But no one is mentioning his nose. You got to say something about that. I mean, like, no news story. Like, you got to say, like, man with huge nose busted for having sex, a busy intersection.
I think the way I would
That's
do it
okay,
is,
right?
a couple was busted for having sex in an intersection. The guy, this guy. That's all I would say.
There's not even the comments. Not even the comments. No one's saying anything about this guy's nose. Like, he knows how to get him.
Right.
Nothing.
Everybody's
Nothing.
like, he must have gave her meth.
I mean, she's a hooker. Poor guy. Golly, did the dude go bobbing for onion rings? Okay, there's one. He does look like he would have put his face in the fryer. What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Tyler. Welcome to the men's room.
What's up? So, anyways, the body part that I will always remember is actually my own uvula.
Your own uvula, the thing that hangs down in the back of your throat.
Yeah. So I've always had it since, I was little, but no one's ever seen it because, no one's really looking back of your throat. But
generally not.
Mine actually has, like, an extra dangly bit off of it.
Wait, so are there two equal-sized dangly bits in the back of your throat?
No, it's, like, a little bit thinner and smaller, but it, like, comes down like a normal uvula.
Can you cock-a-doodle-doo like a rooster? I mean,
no, it's just kind of like almost like a drop of water. You know how it's like it hangs off like an edge,
except
or something,
it's made of human. I mean, has it caused you any health problems at all?
The only time I have issues with it is like when I have like a really bad sore throat, and then I can like feel it.
I was going to say, is it worse? I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know because you don't have one uvula, but certainly when you have a sore throat, you're glad that there's no more to your throat than what's already there.
Yeah, but it's like it's extended, and so like even when like you open your mouth all the way wide, it will still touch like the bottom of my mouth.
So, like, what about right now? Can you feel it on the back of your tongue?
A little bit, only because I'm talking about it.
And who was the first? Who was the first person that noticed it? A family doctor? Your dentist?
It was a doctor actually, because I didn't know. I noticed it first, but I just thought, oh, hey, I guess just that's the way it is. And then a doctor took a look at it one day, and he was like, "That's not normal."
It's really not. I mean, look, when I was
Thank you, doctor.
When I was a kid, I think the first time I saw my uvula, I had to ask my mother, like, is this weird thing supposed to be there? And she assured me it was. Certainly, if I had two, I would freak out.
I remember being a kid and getting sick once, and it, like, got swollen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's,
It was like, something's back there. I got to get it out. And then it's like, no.
Well, one of the weird things it does, it will sometimes, like, fold onto itself, and it'll just look normal.
No, but it can't look normal if it's got a buddy. Like, it looks normal by itself, but once you realize there's another one next to it, like, the normal thing has gone out the
good
window.
news is where it's located, most people will not see that.
That's true, man, but everyone that does is going to bring it up.
What unique body part will you always remember? Hold the line, more your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Go to Radar Online, and they say, believe it or not, celebrities just like me and you can have some deformities as far as their body goes. And they listed 35 celebrity deformities, so I guess you wouldn't feel so bad knowing that all the famous people have these problems as well.
But they also have money.
They start with Harry Styles. Rumors circulating whether or not Harry had 4 nipples were put to rest when he sat down to talk to Chelsea Handler and confirmed that he was in fact born with an extra set of nipples. Having more than 2 nipples is recognized as polythelia, a condition that Styles shares with more than a handful of celebrities.
Nipply Styles.
Including Mark Wahlberg. Mm-hmm. He was revealed in a scene in 2007, the thriller Shooter, that the 3rd nipple is just below his normal left nipple, and the actor has previously talked about it, saying it is the size of an infant's nipple.
It's not all he said.
No, he said some other things, too, like suck it.
Yeah, well, no, he said in his younger days, and I guess he was still Marky Mark at this time, but the thing, and I get it, you're young and brash, but they had asked him about the 3rd nipple, and he responded very quickly, yeah, and bitches like to suck it, right? That was his response. People kind of left him alone about it. Fast forward about 20 years, and more recently, in an interview with him, now he has kids, the kids are getting older, and he's like, I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but I swear to God, I really wish I hadn't said that, because that's the one thing my kids have honed in on.
Kesha was born with a tail, as she revealed in 2013. The pop star noted, I had a tail when I was born. It was a tiny tail, about 1/4 of an inch. Then they chopped it off and stole my tail. Her revelation is one of many efforts she has made to empower people with characteristics that they make them feel as if they don't fit in.
I think that's a bonus.
What's that?
I dated one girl, sound like Al Pacino, that had a great ass. And it looked like her tail hadn't been that long gone.
Okay.
Like there was a little bump there. So I have a theory that if you're born with part of a tail, you probably got a great butt.
So that's what you're saying. Listen, the bad news is you have a tail. Good news, you can have a great ass.
Ashton Kutcher was
Tell
on
me
the
all day, girl.
was on the BBC, and he was joking about his left foot to the BBC and said, "I have connected toes. When everything else is this good looking, something's got to be messed up." Carrie Underwood revealed that she has a third nipple during her American Idol audition. Why she said it looked more like a mole than a
Just
nipple.
during the audition, though. When she gets
thing.
nervous, she gets a nipple.
Megan Fox says she has a minor abnormality on both her hands that had everyone looking at her hands. The actress has a condition known as, brachydactyly. I guess her short and stubby fingers with broad nails.
Yeah, because Megan Fox, that's really hurting her.
Right, her hands are keeping her back.
What's it called again?
It is called, it looks
love
like,
the way
it looks
you
like
say
a
it.
dinosaur. Brachydactyly? Brachydactyly? I don't
Sounds
know.
like a fancy green. Served with a charred broccoli.
Sounds like a vegetarian dinosaur.
Instead, you get hammer fingers.
Mila Kunis suffered from chronic,
Good times.
iritis, a condition for years that left her blind in
itis?
one eye. As a result of the condition, Kunis' eyes slightly differentiate in color,
Yeah, we care.
with her right being green and the left being brown.
I would not care if she was missing an eye and then there's another eye growing in her ear.
And that's why most people did not date her.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix's lip wasn't a result of a repaired cleft lip. It's a birthmark, but it still hasn't kept him from getting roles, they say. He's got a scar on his lip, but it looks like he got a cleft lip palate
But
repair.
see, he has the advantage. And think about how true this is. Part of the reason it hasn't held him back is because he doesn't play a role where he's a normal person, right? So if he's trying to get George Clooney roles and that kind of thing, I'm telling you, they would be more apprehensive to cast him.
Gerard Butler. He didn't even know he had a defect until he shaved off his head for Tomb Raider and noticed that one of his ears stuck out more than the other, forcing the makeup artist to glue it back.
Just really had the bald head, though.
Our question, what unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
Is it bad if you say, like, to the makeup artist, hey, man, listen, I shaved my head for the role. I never realized this. Can you glue my one ear back? If the response is, I thought you'd never ask. Hello, Tim. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I work in the cannabis industry in Seattle. Before I got up to Seattle, though, I worked for a contracting company, and I met a feller with 3 fingers on each hand.
Wait, had he lost the other 2, or do you believe he was born with 6 fingers?
He was born that way.
Hey, did he have thumbs?
So he had a thumb, his pointer finger, and a pinky. But he was a trimmer. So he trimmed with only 3 fingers on
Wait
each
a minute.
hand.
Are you
So
telling
he's
me-
throwing up the devil horns all the time.
And when you say 3 fingers, I'm going to assume that the thumb is included, and you also have 3 fingers. In other words, 4 digits on each hand. Like for some reason, I don't include the thumb as a finger in the way I think. So now that you say that, basically, I mean,
It's the devil horns.
It is the devil horns.
It's Ronnie
all the
James
time.
Dio
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. And then we went on break one day, and he's like, you know, you never asked me about my hand. And I said, well, no, I didn't want to be rude. And he's like, well, most people come over and talk to me, and they're talking about their stupid cousin that, you know, was playing with a table saw. And he's like, you know, usually he finds those guys. But then he's like, you want to see my Ninja Turtle toes? And I was like, what? And he pulled off his boot, and he's got a big toe and a pinky toe and a big U in between.
Oh, no way.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What was going on with the guy?
Did he have
He
a
was just
forked
born that
tongue?
way, from what he was telling me.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's
You know, it's kind of funny because, like, Lady Gaga can sing that all she wants, but, like, when he were to sing that, I'd be like, you know what, I believe this.
I'm
dude.
sure there are advantages.
Like what?
It'd be tough to buy gloves. I mean, let's look at the disadvantages.
Buy mittens.
Yeah, you'd have to buy mittens all the time.
What are the advantages?
Yeah, I want to know about these
What are
advantages.
the advantages?
I bet you're really good at chopsticks or something weird.
No.
I bet you are.
Man, with the
I
double
don't know.
horns?
Yeah, I would think so. Because, like, look, here's the key, right? And then there, and boom, wow.
But that doesn't make him really good.
No, but it makes you more. I don't know. I think. Anyway, what unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
I like when people say, you never asked me about my hand. Like, did you want me to?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, why do you only have 3 fingers on each hand? Because it's skeeving me out. Like, how do you want to approach that? You look weird. You freak me out. Come on. Hello, damn it. Hello, Greg. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I'm a tile setter, carpet guy, and I work with razors all the time. And one day I cut my finger right in half, and never went to the doctor to get it stitched up or nothing, and ended up getting abscess. And about 3 months later, it grew to about the size of a grape, like to call it.
So wait a minute. When you say you cut it completely in half, do you mean you cut it off?
I cut it from right at the knuckle. I cut it straight to the bone.
Oh, so you didn't, it wasn't gone. It was still attached, but you cut it all the way down.
Yeah, it was still attached, but it could have, it should have been cut in half. But it was straight to the bone.
Why didn't you go to the doctor?
Well, at work, the lady I worked with, she was a registered nurse, and she splinted it up and wrapped it up and stuff, so I figured, it'd heal up. And I cut my fingers all the time at work, so didn't think anything of it. And then, about 3 months later.
What do you think is in there? Is that pus or like what? I mean, is it infected?
It is. Yeah. When I went to the when I went to the ER, it was they had to like cut it open, shoot a bunch of Novocaine in there, numbing stuff, and
they
ended up cutting it open. And when the first push that he put on it, man, the pus just shot clear across the room.
Oh, how bad did that stuff stink? How bad did that yellow stuff stink?
Oh, dude, it was disgusting. It was a ratchet smell, man. It was ratchet.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and then they oozed it out. They oozed all that juice out for about 15 minutes.
Thank you for stating it just like that.
You realize,
everyone just put their drinks down.
Dude, you realize if you were my friend, I'd have to drive you to the hospital because I'd have to see that. Like, man, we're going. I'm taking you. I'm going to check this out. You know I love stuff like that, man.
My wife ended up leaving the room as soon as that first squirt, man. She bolted out the room.
Do you think it was the smell or the view?
The ooze just squirting across the room. She saw that and she bolted straight out the room.
Is your finger normal now? Did all the infection go away?
No, it's not. It is not. At right past the knuckle, right before the nail, it bends up. So I as my girls say, do your magic trick, and I'll push up on the bottom of my finger, make it straight, let it go, and it kind of just curves down. But it looks like a J.
But it doesn't have any more infection in it or any of that, right?
No, they took care of all that.
Yeah, I hope so. All right. That's the most important part. Last thing you want to do is get all sick.
Yeah, well, it's the second most important part. The most important part is the finger part, I think. Mm-hmm. And then, if I can't have a finger, get your pus ball. What do you say? Juice the juicer, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
By the way, this comment came in, and as far as people missing fingers, says, went to school with this dude who blew off the 3 middle fingers. And he did with a firecracker. His name is Sebastian. I'm like, all right. Then he adds, like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. So now.
Oh.
It's right. It got so much worse in that moment.
What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
Dude, some of them aren't terrible, right? Like I have a double jointed thumb.
Right.
Which I like. You just pop it in and out. But some people hate it.
Well, it looks weird when you do that, man.
Take yours out of socket? Oh, God, that hurts.
Yeah, that's what it does. It goes in and out.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing.
There you go, Robin. Get a good look.
We're going to put that wiggly thing. Yeah. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So, about my third day of Navy boot camp, we're all getting our uniforms issued. And this guy in the next company over, his company commander was just screaming at him, "Why didn't you get your gloves, boy? Everybody was getting issued their gloves. Why didn't you get your gloves?" And he's like, "Well, my gloves don't fit. None of them would fit." And the company commander just kept screaming at him, "Why didn't you get them?" And he goes, "I got 6 fingers."
And then how does one respond to that? Because, technically it's like,
the
gotcha.
The commander was awesome. He's like taking this kid around by the hand to all the other company commanders, showing him his fingers. He's like, "This kid's got 6 fingers."
Mm-hmm.
Did it come back? Because the thing is, I assume if they issue you gloves, at some point your gloves become very important. So did this guy suffer by not having gloves, or did they order him a special pair of 6-fingered gloves?
I have no idea. He was in the company next to us. So
right.
I didn't get to see the aftermath.
Yeah, it's not, you know what, man, it's not good when other people who know what's going on want to show other people what's going on with you. Like, I don't know, and maybe it was because where I grew up, there was, the university was, that's where the hospital
Teaching
was.
school?
And it was a teaching hospital.
Oh, guess what? Then
So-
it's like going to the zoo.
But it made you feel like you were the only person always with whatever you had.
But the problem is this,
So-
it's never when you have a physical. It's like if you go on because there's a hair bump on your penis. It could be something that simple, but if they're going to see your genitalia or your ass, then it seems like for whatever reason, whatever the problem is, at that moment, one, you find out it's a teaching hospital, and guess what? There's a whole class today, and if it's cool with you, I'm going to bring in 13 people so they can stare at your penis, and I can have them guess what might be wrong with it. It's just tiny. But no, ma'am, that's not it. It's ugly. No.
I had a vein that kind of protruded in a way that was kind of in between the entertainment and dining district.
All right.
But it was also part of on my scrotum. They basically put a thing in there. It's like a varicose vein. It was basically, they got rid of it.
On your
right?
scrotum.
I'm still just having a tough time with you're calling the dining district.
The entertainment and dining district.
I know, but I just feel like the dining district is last.
You don't have
it doesn't
to
matter.
eat.
You can
but
play.
You can get off Twitter,
You
dude.
can play. You can eat wherever you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. But either way, so when I had
Like a varicose vein.
when I had a vasectomy, they took care of that and they
Nice.
got rid of it. But when I was younger, it was pronounced, but it was kind of hard to see because it was on the back. It was again underneath and on the back side,
Sure.
right? But when I went to a doctor to get a physical, because you had to get a physical for whatever school sports, whatever the deal was, you had to go and get all the stuff. They check you out, and I'll never forget. Like the guy was like, "Would it be okay if I brought in, a couple of my students?"
How many is a couple?
Well,
That's
that
one.
Was, that was number one.
Well,
And I
these are the
did-
questions you
all
learned to ask.
First of all, he did not ask me specifically what he wanted to show them. And then he asked me if they were allowed in there so they could observe and learn. I said, sure.
So he treated it like, hey,
Yeah, this is very
as we go
right,
through the
yeah.
physical.
And
let me-
those two dudes and two girls. And they came in. Keep in mind, I'm like 16 years old.
right.
And he just lifts up the old scrot. You know what I mean? Like, here, look at this. This is a such and such and such.
God.
And I'm like, is that not okay? Like, he didn't even tell me.
So you didn't know
like,
there
he
was
didn't tell
anything?
me. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, I never saw it. It
So
wasn't like,
you, at this point, you're
I
just
didn't
getting
even
a
know.
physical.
Right,
You
right.
honestly didn't know it was there.
Here's a Bolivian,
A scrotal.
scrotal vein.
Right.
As you can see, it looks like the Bolivian River.
I mean, did you immediately say,
I was like, God damn, Doc, what is going on? Like, am I okay? Am I going to die? Like, it's a very important part of my body right now.
Yeah.
And forever.
I told you I had that buddy that had one berry that was much larger.
Yeah.
Then he went to college, a very good university, and he played a sport there. And the team doctor was like, you need to see a specialist. That is not right. And he was like, no. Been through this all through high school. It's just one's just giant. And he went to the specialist and came back, and they were like, one's just giant.
There's nothing wrong with him.
Giant berry.
Yeah, right? But he's 18 trying out for this college team. They're like, something is wrong with you, son.
Do you realize he's had to repeat that to every new doctor? Oh, my God. Doc, relax. I've got, no, see a specialist. Fine.
One ball corner pocket. Right. What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
I don't think we call him that anymore. I haven't seen him in years. We used to call him Fat Blank.
Fat boy.
I'd call him Chuck Berry. Oh, that's the guy. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
How are we doing today?
Doing great. Feeling more normal than not.
I'm so glad I'm not so many other people.
Yes.
Right? Well, this might change your mind. All righty. I came out with skin cancer not too long ago.
So far, I still don't want to be you. That is.
No one does. It gets worse.
Oh, good.
So it was just a little crater in my nose, and it turned out to be skin cancer, so they had to remove the nose.
The nose?
The nose?
The whole nose?
The whole nose.
Wow.
No, the nose.
The whole thing's gone.
The whole. And going through what's called Mohs surgery, MOHS, for those brave people that want to go on the Googling machine.
MOHS.
Yes.
Okay.
And what is that?
Basically, it's where they take a giant flap of your forehead, turn it into a half of a penis, and place it over your nose to make a new nose.
We made the mistake of Googling that.
Are you exposed right now? Is like your whole thing hanging? You know what I mean?
Next week I go in to get it all fixed to be a normal nose, hopefully.
So wait, what do you look like right now? Because right now we're seeing kind of the, we see the removal of noses. God damn! Sorry, we're looking at images of this.
Wow. Yes. Okay.
So what do you look like right now? Is the flap over your nose, and then is there a big wound in your forehead where they removed it?
Yes, it is. Yes, exactly like that.
Jeez, man. And how long has it been like that?
It looks like a bad sausage.
It does look like a bad sausage.
A really, really, really bad
and
sausage.
Now they're going to shape it so it looks more like a nose, correct?
Hopefully.
Man,
so how long have you been noseless?
Month and a half now.
Month and a half? Okay, and you said next week you go in to hopefully get it all taken care of?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great until I get the bill.
Okay.
Well,
hey, man, it'll be worth it.
And you've saved money on Kleenex the last month, I'm assuming.
Can you still laughing? The guy has a great attitude about it.
And I can't believe that vocally, I would have to assume the nose has something to do with your vocals.
I like that it's called Moe's surgery for his nose.
Because it's Mata nose. Wow. That is something else right there.
I was unfamiliar with that.
What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA. Hold the line. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, the return of what you don't need to know, the Flop Edition, and who sucks less. Right before we drink and toast with the shot of the day, our question, what unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Brock. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you.
Right on. The body part that I remember is in high school, we all flew over to WSU for football camp. And one day after practice, we were all in the showers, and there was this monster dude. He was probably like 6'8", 260, 280. And a bunch of kids started rolling up towels and whipping people. Anyways, moral of the story, he got whipped in his satchel, and I saw one of his berries pop out.
Oh, golly.
It was a deal breaker, man. That definitely ruined the day for a lot of people.
I'm sure it did.
That's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah. Was this a hazing thing?
No, just a couple kids. I mean, I don't know if you could haze this kid. He was the biggest
That's
dude
what I was
in
going
there.
to say. Who would want to go after this guy?
Well, I mean, just snapping towels. I mean, I don't think you expect to split his satchel in half, man. I'm assuming he just dropped to the ground.
No, he literally looked down, eyes went white, and just fell like a tree.
Sure. Yeah, because that's like that's one of your children.
Potentially.
I mean, well, it really is. I mean, you treat it like that.
It's kind of your kid first. So, did you like stick around and the ambulance picks him up, or what is his next course of action after he drops to the ground?
Oh, hell no, dude. My course of action was to get the heck out of there. I ran.
All right. Yeah, good idea.
It's going to end bad.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, man.
What unique body part will you always remember? 844-999-OLA.
I hope I get this name right. Trade.
Hola.
Hola. How do I say your name, man?
Treed, like tree, but past tense.
Treed. Okay. No, I thought it was Trede, and I'm like, oh, no, I just don't know what to say. So, Treed, all right.
So the body part that I will always remember, I started a new job, and I noticed this guy the first day, he always wore a face mask, like a hospital cap and gown type mask. Never asked him about it because I thought it would be rude. But one day we were outside smoking, and he smoked a cigarette through the mask.
Wait, he had the mask on, and he's inhaling through the mask.
Mask on, and you could see he'd put the cigarette in far enough to put the mask in between his lips, and he'd just suck smoke right through the mask.
So he had big brown splotchy circles all over the front of his mask.
I'm assuming that he probably went and changed them, but we didn't actually discuss that because I finally got the nerve to ask him why he wore a face mask, and I told him, if it's a rude question, just kick me in the shin. He was like, no, I'd rather you ask than just stare at me. And so he proceeded to tell me that he had a tumor removed from his sinus cavity, and it was about the size of a golf ball. And he was in the middle of the surgery that you gentlemen just looked up recently, and so he did not currently have a nose. So what I saw
when he took his mask off.
You just saw the hole.
Yep, all the way back down into the back of the sinus cavity.
Didn't it look like the bad guy from the Captain America movie? What's his name? Red Skull? Something like that?
That's actually one of the first things I thought of when I saw it, too. But then he asked me the question that I will never, to the end of my days, forget. He said, the best thing about this hole in the middle of my face?
No. Oh! Yeah, because his wife wants to look down and see that.
That's what she's dying for.
Nobody knows the trouble I see. Yeah, so did you see him after the fact that once the surgery? Oh, we don't know.
No, I don't.
All right.
That's, you see a lot of people that walk around with those. I just assume either they are sick, they believe other people are sick, or they're scared of pollution. But now I think I'm going to be like, hey, man, let me just ask you something.
I ride the bus with a ton of surgeons.
That's what I mean. Do you have a nose?
Bus every day is filled with surgeons.
Or Cheap Ninja.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah. What, as far what? Just to wear?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I used to always think those people were strange that wore those on like public transportation stuff. I'm like, maybe they're right.
I mean, maybe. It just seems a bit extreme,
Yeah.
I would be happier with rubber gloves anytime I get on the bus. Like, I can deal with your stink,
I take the gloves over the mask.
Yeah. I don't want to have to touch
Especially
anything
if they're
about
the black ones, because those look cooler.
Yes, Ted. That's
what unique body part will you always remember? 844-999. Ola, more your calls in seconds.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.